I'm Noel, and I'm so excited to be here today with Phil, aka the Chicken Guy, for one of the contestants from Wheel of Fortune. When I was also a contestant, we filmed Disney Week Secret Santa together. So, hi, Phil, how are
How are you? It's so cool to
you?
see you outside of like the busyness and craziness of that day.
I know. I think what most people don't realize is, first of all, we were in a group of, I think, 17 people all together. A million things were going on. So we spoke a little bit, but we really didn't get a lot of time to get to know one another.
Yeah, man, it was like we were all had this similar journey we were on. And like we get to talk about how we got there, but like you said, so many things were happening all at
Yeah.
once that we never really got much time to hang out and get to know each other. We were all just equally excited about this crazy thing that was going on in our lives all
Yes.
at the same
Yes.
time. And it was like we all shared these emotions together. It's like this weird non-traumatic event that bonded the 17 people together.
Exactly. And I think it was just so surreal. We couldn't use like our phones to take any pictures or videos. So I think we were all just trying to like soak in that moment and try to remember it forever.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. The fact that they were so secretive about everything. I mean, they were telling us like not to look at the audience, dude, not to
Yes.
look at your significant others. And I'm like, whoa, okay, all right, cool. I'm already freaking thinking about this stuff, but sure, let's go with that too, man. It was wild.
It was wild. It was wild. So you filmed the Tuesday episode, right?
Yes.
That was
December
Tuesday.
17th. Yep.
Yeah, so I was Wednesday's episode, and when we were filming, I did get to see the beginning of your show, but then
Hmm.
they pulled me in the back because I had to get ready for the next
Yep.
round. So I actually never got to see the bonus rounds or anything until like live, TV. So I
Yeah.
really I didn't, I heard what had happened, but I didn't really see anything. So let's talk about this infamous puzzle that you had to solve. What was
Oh,
going through your
whew.
mind at that moment?
Man, it's funny. Like I've said this story so many times now, and everyone's always like, "Oh, dude, it must have been the pressure, the lights." No, man, it was none of that. I'm used to that with my regular job. Like it was just in that moment. I'm like, chickens? I had no idea, and I'm like, I'll just throw a guess out. And the
Yeah.
minute I said it, I said to myself, I'm like, "Oh God, dude, that might go viral." Boy, was I right, and I didn't even have any clue how viral it was going to go.
Yeah. No, I agreed. I mean, I don't think anybody knew in that moment. We were so bummed when you got it. The whh audience was like,
Oh yeah.
Uh, yeah, and I know you felt that.
I did. I did. I mean, I couldn't not feel it, but it's like it's weird. I walked in there like knowing that no matter what, this was going to be a really cool story. So I
Yeah,
was happy either way, no matter what. Like that, just getting there, man. Like being in that, having that be the way I checked off my Disney bucket list
yeah,
of my health stuff, man. It was
yeah.
very surreal. It felt very it felt right in a weird way.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you did. You had such a heartfelt, a heartwarming story. I think, when everybody heard you talk about what you had been through, we everybody immediately felt connected to you. And I think, secretly everybody was like, we really wanted to win. But yeah, tell for anybody who hasn't seen the show, I don't know, who didn't see that episode, but tell us a little bit about how you got to Wheel of Fortune and why it was a bucket list for you.
All right, man. So about 2.5 years ago, I started getting really sick. I started having respiratory infection after respiratory infection. I started getting boils. They had no idea what was going on with my body.
Wow.
Then on July 24th, I got news that would change my life. I went to the doctor. I was in the emergency room and they were doing new tests and they're like, something's wrong. We got to find it. And they found that I was in late stage heart failure with an EF of 12 to 15, which is pretty much a death sentence. It is, you're not like, and they had no idea. I'm 42 years old at that point, and I've
Yeah.
had no health conditions before this whatsoever.
Wow.
So, I mean, I gained about 39 pounds in less than a week of edema fluid in my legs, my stomach.
Oh, wow.
Um, I couldn't move 5 feet without gasping for air. It was it was really hard. I suppressed a lot of it in a way because so much of it was so traumatic. There were nights where I couldn't sleep more than like 5, 10 minutes, and it was only if I sat up with my head down. It was
Yeah.
that hard to breathe. So And then a month after diagnosis, my mother died.
Oh,
Then my relationship started falling apart because of all the pressure of everything. And
sure, sure.
I ended up being a single dad who was blowing through all of his savings, dying in a bed, getting
Mm,
behind on everything, and being like, God, what's tomorrow going to bring?
right.
So I then said, you know what, dude, we're gonna try and beat this. We're gonna do what we can. So I got a great cardiac rehab team. I had a great doctor in Dr. Zicatello and in Dr. Jari, and they put me on the right meds, and I started like eating completely differently, moving completely differently, taking the time
Yeah,
to like really manage my stress levels because I they told me stress will kill you. Legitimately,
yeah, yeah.
stress will kill you. And the hardest thing you can do with life is have stressors, but learn how to manage them and
Mhm,
still
mhm.
be okay with it.
Right,
So,
right.
I mean, I blew through over 30 grand in savings. I
Wow,
was going on disability. I mean, I went from owning a business to being falling apart and dying.
wow.
So I said three words: do the thing, get better,
Yeah.
and just do the thing. So I'm like, Blink 182, Mark just went through a cancer battle and they got the reunion with him and Tom, and they're doing a reunion tour. So I'm like, you know what? Got to go see Blink 182 reunited. I got to make it back to WrestleMania because I work in wrestling and I
Yes.
wanted to
Mhm.
be there for 40. And I wanted to get back to Disney because Disney has always been my big love. And me and my daughter have been like 16 times. I have multiple Disney tattoos, including the castle on my leg. And like I said on the show,
Oh.
like I've lost count. I mean, I've got Gaston on my entire chest. Like I have Madame Leota on my hand, Scar
I
on the
love
other
that.
hand. Like
I love it.
it's Disney's always been a passion of mine. So I'm like, I'm going to get back to Disney somehow. So we're going to fast forward now to July 24th of this past year, 2024.
Okay.
And that is the 2 year anniversary of my diagnosis. I'm now
Mhm.
doing better. I'm not great, still on a ton of
Amazing.
meds, but
Yeah.
Blink 182 was playing in Hartford, Connecticut, and I had tickets. And I actually went on the first date with my girlfriend to that show.
Oh,
So
wow.
I checked off the bucket list item number two because I'd ended up at WrestleMania 40 earlier
Okay.
that year. So I was like, all right, cool. Now I got this, and now I just met my girlfriend at Blink 182 on the anniversary of my diagnosis, and like this was my bucket list to do it. Now all we have is
Wow.
Disney. So I'm like, all right, you're still not maintaining a lot of money right now because of all the shit you've been through. I will
Yeah.
get a trip somehow. Then I saw on Facebook or Instagram, I was scrolling and I saw Wheel of Fortune looking for
Yes.
Disney fans.
That's exactly
And
what I saw.
I'm like, all right, here. So I went on it and I was like, you know what, dude? I shot what I can only describe as a wrestling style promo where I told them I was going to be on Wheel of Fortune and that I
Yeah.
was their next contestant. And I'm like, if I hear
Ah.
back, I hear back. So I deleted the video. I never watched it again. And I sent it and I said, let's see what happens.
Wow.
So a
Wow.
week later, not even, I get a call, I get the first interview and they're like, let's do that little Zoom call where you get to know
Yeah.
someone and do that. And then like a couple days later, they sent the email, you got a second interview. Let's do the
Yes.
mock game, all that. And then they
Yes.
said you'd hear back in 3 to 6 months, maybe a year, if you'd get
Yeah.
back on. And later that night at 7 o'clock, I get the email, can you be in California in 2 weeks?
I know
So
it
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 all
all happened so
happened for
fast.
me
Yeah.
in like a 5 week span, not even. And that's what
Yeah.
blew my mind when I was talking to all of you guys is there are some of you who've been waiting a year, six
I
months, three
know.
months. And I'm like, this was like so quick for me that I didn't know what to do.
Yeah, yeah, for me too, because I know I was talking to Desiree yesterday and she applied like 2 years prior, but you and I must have saw that same promo where they said, "Are you, a Disney fan?" That's what they were looking for.
Yeah.
And I applied and it was fairly quickly that I heard back and same kind of thing, like, "Can you come in 2 weeks?" I was like, "Okay, I'll figure this out."
Yeah, exactly, man. Exactly. It was like it's kind of stressful, but in the best way possible. And that's what made me hit the trifecta because like being in California, I'm like, I've never been to Disneyland. I've been to Disney World multiple times, but I'm like, I've
Yeah.
always wanted to walk where Walt walked.
Yeah,
So I'm like,
same.
dude, let's just go. And so me and my
Yeah.
girlfriend flew down there. We spent the day at Universal the first day, and then
Yeah.
we went to Disney World. I mean Disneyland for the entire day. Then we filmed the next day. It was
Yeah.
like that. It was
Yeah.
just
Ah.
such a fast moment, man.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. I'm a huge Disney fan too, obviously. the day after my episode aired, I said, "We're going to Disneyland." So me and my husband went straight there.
There you go. See, yep, exactly, man. Was that your first time too?
That was actually it was my second time. It was my husband's
Yeah,
first time. Or no, no, it was his second time also. Yeah. Yeah, it was
that's
great.
cool, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
I
great.
can't wait to go back again, man. Like it's this
I
whole thing
know.
has been so nuts.
Yeah.
I was excited about it airing because like a lot of the guy like I announced it on IWTV because I work for Blitzkrieg Pro. I'm a ring announcer full time for
Mhm.
professional wrestling.
Mhm.
And I remember that last show. I was like, all right, guys, and you can catch me this Tuesday on Wheel of Fortune,
Yeah.
and it's going to be thrilling nonetheless. And I promise you, the next show you'll have something to talk about. And boy, oh boy,
And
like
yeah.
that. Then
Sure enough.
by the next morning, like I watched it with a bunch of friends so they could make fun of me because I told a bunch of friends like, "Yo, dude, I bomb on one puzzle so hard and it's so bad it's probably gonna go viral." I told a few
Oh,
friends that, and that's all I got to say. And I remember watching with them, and they were all just like, "Are you kidding me, dude?" And then the messages started coming in. Then my phone started pinging, 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 like, "Bro,
amazing.
chickens, chickens,
Chickens.
chickens." So I wake up the next morning and I have more messages, and I'm like, "Oh, what? Is just someone else making fun of me?" And it's one of my friends, Stephanie from high school, and she's like, "Dude, you just made the Daily Mail." I'm like,
Yeah.
"What?"
I pulled it up on my phone. I mean, not just the Daily Mail, the Today
Oh
Show,
yeah,
Fox News, People. You were on 3 websites.
everywhere. And George Takai, People Magazine, Fox News, MSNBC,
Yeah.
E Entertainment, like everywhere, dude.
Yeah.
I'm like, and this all happened so quick. Then I started getting people like, "Hey, can we talk to you? Can we interview?" So I'm like, "Sure." I
Amazing.
mean, and working in entertainment anyway with like wrestling, it's like, dude, any kind of like promotion I can do for
Of
what I
course.
do, I'm gonna take it. Absolutely,
Yeah.
I'll take
So
it.
now
So
so
yeah,
professionally for work, you're a professional wrestling ring announcer.
I am. I work in professional wrestling where I'm a ring announcer. I'm
Yeah.
also a marketing sponsorship director. So if people want to sponsor matches, pay-per-views, or we want sponsors for certain things they're
Great.
doing, they go through me and we can put them on there, give them some TV
Amazing.
time, some commercials, ad space. It's
Wow.
it's a really cool gig, man. And I it's where I get to dial myself to 11 at least once a month and get in front of a crowd and just eat up the energy of people chanting. Like it's
Yeah.
intoxicating.
But now what's next after this Wheel of Fortune experience and all the feedback that you've been getting? What's next for you?
Well, I mean, I just played a game show this morning on the radio where I tied with the host. So it's like that doesn't mean anything. But again, at least I didn't bomb this time. Um, there's a few things in the fire that I can't talk about right now, but
Okay.
I will keep you updated when
We're
I
gonna
can.
follow you. Yeah.
And also, I will be on IWTV for Blitzkrieg Pros through Being Cool on February 15th at 7 p.m. live
Okay.
on IWTV. And if you can't catch it there and you want to actually come out to Massachusetts, we're at the Eastern Mountain Country Club in Westfield for that show.
Nice.
Other than that, I believe I'm going to be with the Wrestling Observer doing something with them in the next week or two. And who knows what else I have, but
Yeah.
that's what I can say for now.
Okay. And your handle where people can follow you on Instagram is Disney Dad. Tell me again.
Disney Dad's World.
Disney Dad's World. Yes. I know. I was scrolling through looking at all your pictures. I was like, he's a Disney fan just like me.
Oh, hardcore. Very, very much so. Very much so. I mean, where I am right now, I mean, I got my castle, I have my keys on the wall. I have all my magic bands over here. I
That's
have like a
amazing.
little shrine, and that's
So how many
ironically
times
where I
have you
filmed the
gone?
video.
How many times have
Oh
you gone to
God,
Disney World?
about 20 something, I'd say.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I'm
Yep.
up there with you about that amount.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I mean, it's funny because I grew up very poor. So when I became like more successful in life later on, when I grew like myself, I said, you know what, dude? Like the one thing I've always wanted to do is go to Disney World. And my first time was only in 2017 with my daughter. Like I brought my daughter. It was me and her the first time. And I
Wow.
remember rounding Main Street and finally seeing that castle I wanted to see for so long and holding my little girl's hand dressed as Cinderella.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Aw.
well, this is a moment that I'll never forget. And
Yep.
B, I am now addicted more than I thought I would be, and I'm going to be here all the time. And
All the
I mean
time.
that year alone, we went like 3 times. It's
Oh, that's great.
I don't know, man. I call it my place where I can do my hard reset. No matter what I go through up here, I can
Yeah.
go down there for a day or two, get that feeling inside. Like it's.
Yep.
I told people before, it's like when you're there You got a kid living their best day ever. You get a parent watching their kid living that. You get adults who just want to relive their childhood, and you can get hugs from people you didn't even know you needed it from that just feel therapeutic,
I
all for
know.
the low cost of, well, not low,
Yeah.
but all for the cost of a
All
trip
for
to
the
Disney.
cost. It's worth it. It's totally worth it. So I asked Ryan when I was on stage what his favorite ride was. So that's what I'm gonna ask you as the final question here. What is your favorite ride at Disney World?
100% the Haunted Mansion. I am a
Oh,
giant Haunted Mansion fan. I have Madame
yep,
Leota
show that.
tattooed right on my hand.
I love
I
that.
have the Hatbox Ghost on my arm right
Oh,
here. Like,
is that
I'm a
a newer
huge fan.
tattoo?
It is. I just got
It's a
that one
newer one.
done about 2 months ago. The Hatbox Ghost. Madame
Oh, so
Leota is
cool.
actually like 6 years old now almost. But yeah, Haunted Mansion all the way. The cool thing I got to do about Disneyland was I got to see Haunted Mansion Holiday when we were
Yes.
there.
Yes,
And that
that's
was
right.
so freaking cool, man. But at the
Yes,
same time, too, I was like, oh, I'm where the original Haunted Mansion is,
I
man. Like, and I
know.
didn't get to go on. So, I mean, I look at this as now I just have to go back.
Yes, you just have to go back. That's it. That's it. Hey, maybe another game show.
There may just be that in the future.
I like that. I like that. Yeah, we saw Haunted Mansion Holiday too, and it was incredible.
Oh, so cool, right? So
Yeah,
cool. The
yeah, it was
stretching room
great.
part alone with Jack was so awesome. It was so great.
It was great. Well, thank you so much, Phil. It was so great to talk to you and get to know you a little bit better. I'm so glad to have met you, and that opportunity was just an incredible experience.
Oh my God, what a cool way to like really experience something with a group of people that we're going to be bonded with for life, man. Because
Yes.
like it's one of those things where I was on the radio the other day and they said to me, "Your bucket list was Blink-182, WrestleMania, and Disney," and they're like, most people's bucket list would be being on Wheel of Fortune, and you were just like, "Oh, that's what got me there." And it's like, you know what, dude? I didn't even think of it that way because it happens so fast
Yeah.
for me and for you too that I never really got a chance to process it till it was over, and I'm still
Right.
processing it
Right.
now.
Same. Same. Oh, well, thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks for sharing your story and stay well.
Absolutely, you too. Have a good one.